Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to continuing our great relationship. Yes, yes, haha, well then, excuse me.
It seems that the long conversation had finally come to an end, and the receiver was placed back down. The man happily flipping through the documents on his desk is Tom, the section manager. He was transferred here not too long ago. He clicks his heels and walks over to the whiteboard. Then he starts shading in the sales performance graph and looks pleased with his work.
That makes it 15 deals. Not bad at all. Gosh, I'm such a competent manager. It's technically you guys' job to get these contracts, but I guess as an Ivy League graduate, I need to set the example.
Nobody responds, but he, with arms crossed, nods to himself. This is a cliché development, and his next move was easy to guess.
Hey Mike, I'm leaving the paperwork to you. Remember, these are my contracts, so make sure you don't slack off.
He tosses the precious contracts onto my desk with a smirk and said to me,
You should be grateful, a high school grad like you working under me.
I am Mike Harris, 29 years old. I was assigned to the sales section too shortly before Tom transferred from the Montana branch. I'm just an average Joe. Tom checked everyone's educational backgrounds right after his introductory speech, while commenting on everyone's colleges, saying things like, oh, I know a professor from there, or I have a friend who went to grad school there. He finally came to me. He asked me about my alma mater, and I hesitated.
You're not going to tell me you're just a high school grad, are you?
Yes, I just graduated from my local high school.
How embarrassing to have a high school grad working under me. Alright, here's a chance for you. Bust your chops and get some contracts in the next 3 months, and I might reconsider you for me.
So, I hustled hard in sales, but no matter how many deals I secured, Tom would always claim them as his own. He would make just one confirmation call after receiving the contract from our clients and would then insist, I finalized this contract. It's mine. I've secured a total of 15 contracts, including the one from the recent call. Our company adds bonuses based on the number of contracts and sales figures. Yet, my contract count and sales numbers are still 0, even though I handle all the post-contract tasks, like notifying other departments and preparing delivery schedules. Tom, you're coloring the graph in the wrong place.
What? Got a problem with it? You think a high school grad like you can critique me?
This contract was also clearly got by me. Why are you taking credit?
I personally do the final checks, making sure all the paperwork is in order, the quantities are correct, that's what makes a deal. A high school grad like you should just be grateful to have a job under my guidance.
My colleagues glance at me. I've told them I appreciate their concern, but please don't defend me. I can handle this on my own.
What a letdown. I was so excited to be promoted to the headquarters, and yet there's a high school grad in my team. It's also cheeky to get one contract after another.
Oh, so you do know these are my deals after all. Suddenly, he threw something hard at me. It was a set of keys labeled document storage. Usually, it is the manager who controls them, and no one else is allowed to take them out without permission.
Stay in there and clean or sort out the documents until I tell you to come out. Got it?
And he said that around 10 in the morning, so here I am, still stuck in the storage room.
I see. Still loves locking people in storage, that man.
It's 12:40 p.m. Lunch break will be over soon, and naturally, Tom's nowhere in sight. I've cleaned everything and even got bored swinging the broom around. So now I'm on the phone with a friend from the Montana branch. Bob Wilson was a high school classmate of mine. He's one of my close friends. After attending a high school in New York, he went on to study at the University of Montana and then started working at the Montana branch. He is a really reliable guy who always tells me what Tom, the manager, was up to there.
But why on earth would you be put into storage duty? That's just weird.
Well, no matter how good an employee is at securing contracts, if they only have a high school diploma, my manager just doesn't seem to like them.
Oh, I see.
I could hear a heavy sigh from the other end of the phone.
I hate to bring up bad memories, but Tom used to make those he deemed uneducated clean the storage all the time. First, he'd steal their accomplishments and then send them off to storage. Those folks, they've all quit by now. He's probably trying to get you to quit too.
Yay, probably. He's always on about high school diploma this and Ivy League that.
If he was really competent, maybe it'd be okay. Speaking of the storage room, There's a story about someone who was ordered to clean there before closing a deal and then had their accomplishments stolen by Tom. That was back when I was still an operations depth.
Man, he's really a piece of work. There's no doubt he pulled the same stunts at the Montana branch, but there's little evidence. All the computers of those who resigned have been wiped clean, and no one has come forward to file any complaints. The only thing we have are a few eyewitness accounts. Bob and a few others tried talking to upper management, but they were turned away with a simple "there's no evidence."
Even after I transferred to sales, 5 people have quit. Towards the end, they were told to go to storage almost every day. Even when we tried to stand up to Tom, they'd just end up saying, "I'll clean the storage, don't worry." I wish I could have done more, but being a University of Montana graduate, my words didn't carry much weight. He just brushed me off.
Bob's a kind soul who chose the University of Montana because he was worried about his elderly grandparents. He moved from New York to be closer to them. I heard he'd commute from their place and often helped with chores and grocery shopping. He probably still lives with them, at least until his parents retire and move away from New York. That's just the kind of guy Bob is. It's not your fault, Bob. My lunch break's almost over. Thanks for chatting.
Not a problem. Now you're going to go back to cleaning.
Nat, this place doesn't get much foot traffic, so there's not much to clean. I've finished. While talking to Bob, something occurred to me. The document storage at the Montana branch should be about the same size, a space that should have been cleaned quickly, yet the cleaning seemed to go on and on. What were they actually cleaning?
Mike, everything okay?
Bob, there's something I need you to do.
Sure, anything.
I explained my thoughts to him and hung up. I was deep in thought when the door burst open. It was Tom.
What do you think you're doing using your phone without my permission?
It's my lunch break. I can do what I want. I didn't leave this room and finished cleaning as you asked.
Excuses. This is why I can't stand you people. If my subordinates are seen as low grade, it reflects on me. You're fired.
I see. After being told I was fired, I walked past Tom to leave the room. Of course, I'd already neatly returned the broom to the closet. Cleaning up after oneself is important.
Hold on. Can't you at least thank me properly? You may be a high school graduate, but you've been working as a member of society for a long time, so.
You're right. It properly is basic courtesy. See you around.
Hey, wait.
I gave a greeting that was probably different from what he expected, and this time, I truly left the document storage room. The next morning, several phones in the office were ringing off the hook, and my colleagues scrambled to answer. Tom, humming to himself, looked genuinely shocked at the chaos, and one of my colleagues rushed up to him.
Tom, we've got a situation.
What's going on here?
We've received multiple calls from clients wanting to break the contract, claiming things aren't as they were told.
Break the contract? What on earth? Gimme that.
Tom snatched the phone from a nearby female colleague and started speaking. His face turned pale as he listened.
Maybe there's been some misunderstanding. Why would you want to terminate the contract just because Mike is no longer handling it?
Everyone in the room was focused on Tom. I rose from the couch hidden behind the room divider and approached.
Mike, what on earth have?
Taking the receiver from Tom's hand, I introduced myself and started talking. Good day, this is Mike speaking. Yes, I apologize for our oversight. Please don't worry. I will call you back right away. Yes, phones were ringing incessantly around the room. Nevertheless, my colleagues were echoing my sentiments to their respective callers.
What did you do?
I simply gave our clients a proper farewell, just as you taught, Tom.
You meddling. Are you seriously trying to ruin all the contracts you brought in? No way you just cancel them without permission. Hey, what are you thinking? Because of you, my promotion could be delayed. I'm about to become a director, you know.
Chickling, I replied to the fuming Tom. Become a director? I think that's a stretch.
What? But the current director is on extended leave and is about to retire. That's why the CEO gave me a chance. If I could secure more than 10 contracts in 3 months, I'd have a shot at the promotion.
Well, you were being tested for sure. Whether you could actually secure contracts with your own efforts, and whether rumors about your discriminatory remarks towards subordinates and your shady commission dealings were true. His face was no longer just pale. It was ashen. His clenched fists trembled. but he elicited no sympathy. Actually, the director's position isn't vacant. I'm the new sales director for the main office.
That's impossible.
Mike, the data from Bob has been printed.
Thanks. A colleague, or rather, one of my subordinates, handed me the printed materials I had requested. It was something Bob had found and sent to me. Take a look at this. It was left behind in the Montana branch.
What's this? All handwritten, and there's name of person in charge, file number. What is all this?
It's a record left by those who resigned, or rather, were forced to resign because of you. There are entries like Tom threatened to tarnish my reputation at my next job if I complained about him, and he told me he'd erase the computer data and change the name of person in charge, so there'd be no evidence. And there's so much more here. The printed data spanned dozens of pages. The originals were several notebooks, so I had the images digitized and sent to me. These notes had detailed accounts of the contracts, file numbers, and actual person in charge. Some entries were made in different handwriting, suggesting that subsequent entrants added to the information. E-writers, it was clear that a collective of former employees wanted to hold Tom accountable. There were letters that trembled and some that had smeared. The emotions of those who wrote this came through so strongly it was almost painful to feel. For the record, none of them made formal complaints. They simply documented the actual person who took the contracts.
Damn it, these can't be used as evidence.
Don't worry, I've already contacted several clients listed here. While records show that you secured those contracts and took the commissions, the actual negotiations were done by the employees listed in this notebook. For those contracts not in the notebook, upon re-examination, some clients said, "I was surprised when Tom only showed up to stamp the deal." Tom looked utterly lost, slumped. He hangs his head and says nothing, but still trying to justify his actions.
I'm an Ivy League elite, not like you low-educated folks. I deserve to be on top. They all have a cocky attitude. Contracts should be handled by elites like me. I just corrected that. What's wrong with removing nuisances afterwards?
Everything is wrong. There's no other way to put it.
It can't be.
Whether one is competent at their job isn't solely determined by their educational background. Of course, working hard to get into college and studying for many more years than others is commendable, but that just means you've had the opportunity to deeply pursue the field you want to learn about. It shouldn't be for bragging to others. Among the people Tom drove to resignation with his contempt, there were those with only a high school diploma, and some had even dropped out of high school. Yet, it's clear that they were all competent at their jobs. By looking at the handwritten notes compiled in a notebook or the number of contracts they handled, one can easily discern this. It's a pity that the Montana branch let go of such talented people. Even when I talk like this, the man in front of me doesn't seem to show any remorse.
Where the hell did they leave this thing?
It's in the storage closet for cleaning supplies at the Montana branch. Only staff who've borrowed a key from the manager can enter that room, and cleaning companies aren't allowed in. Probably only those ordered by you to clean the room would have found it.
Ed, this has to be a joke. I'm an Ivy League graduate. I'm an elite. You can't be the director. That's gotta be a lie.
Tom glares at me, but his eyes are filled with tears. Is he still fixated on educational backgrounds even though he clearly lacks job competence? Oh, I forgot to mention, I graduated from high school and then went to MIT. So, my final degree is from MIT.
MIT.
Tom, collapsing on the spot, trembled and murmured in a faint voice, "I give up. Placing so much importance on academic backgrounds sure can be something." A few weeks later,
Man, I'm so tired. No matter how much I do, it just doesn't end.
contrary to his words, Bob's cheerful voice tells me he's actually pretty happy. The folks at the Montana branch, including Bob, seem to still be dealing with the aftermath of Tom, the former manager. They're proceeding with investigations using that notebook as a reference and contacting former colleagues who had resigned. The directive to clarify everything and set things right came directly from the CEO. Currently, a few people from the headquarters are assisting with the investigation. Seems tough. Did Tom do shady stuff even before becoming a manager?
Yes, he did. He would change the name on the achievements of his colleagues to his own. Because everyone around him was so competent and produced a lot, it was hard to notice. The commission isn't given at the time of contract establishment, but after the first delivery, right? Seems like he pretended to help with data processing and skimmed a little from many people.
And to think he became a manager with that sort of behavior.
Did you hear from the CEO? The branch manager here is Tom's uncle. Using a little result as a pretext, he promoted him out of nepotism. There are relatives in HR and finance, and they seem to have been pulling strings. I heard all of them are getting disciplinary action.
At the sheer ridiculousness of it all, I'm at a loss for words. So the Tom's family was neck deep in corruption.
Hey, Mike, thanks.
What? Why so sudden?
You believed me even without concrete evidence and got Tom called to the headquarters, right? He thought it was a promotion and was excited to find a wife in New York. I feel sorry for the real manager.
No worries, the real manager enjoyed pretending to be a regular employee. Yes, the real manager was mingling with us as an ordinary staff member. Normally, once you become a manager, you hardly get any contracts, but he was glad he could go out and get contracts during this period. It was also fun for me. Yes, all the clients who approached us for contract cancellations are from companies we have good relations with. We apologized for the inconvenience later, expressed our gratitude, and recontracted at a discounted rate.
It's good to hear that. Say hi to the CEO for me. It's funny how the same uncle and nephew position is so different from his place.
Keep the fact that he's my uncle a secret.
I know, see ya.
Bob hung up without waiting for my response. I've told Bob, but I don't want anyone else knowing that the CEO is my uncle, but it's probably because he's my uncle that he approved this plan. As a result, he keeps pestering me about being his successor. I don't want that. I want to be an ordinary guy. Just knowing I'm from MIT makes some women change their attitude. I can't imagine what would happen if they knew I could become a CEO. I reluctantly became a director, but I'm firmly against becoming a CEO. Later on, the victims who left notes were paid not only the commission-based salary they were originally supposed to receive, but also an additional compensation. The source of the funds is compensation for damages to Tom. According to Bob, everyone seemed satisfied and accepted the money. Additionally, there are plans to rehire those who wish to return. It's such a relief. As for Tom, I actually saw him the other day, working as a flagger at a nighttime construction site. He was being yelled at for trying to let a car through on the other side of the road, even though there was a car coming the wrong way down a one-lane road. Ivy League graduate or words like that probably wouldn't even work in that place. If one doesn't think for themselves, make decisions, and strive to learn, they can't succeed in any job. Even in jobs that require an educational background. It's the same thing. That construction seems to be over now, and traffic is flowing smoothly today. The trees by the roadside don't even have buds yet. Once it warms up a bit, they'll surely bloom beautifully. Oh, I can't wait for spring to come.